Today we have venom extractions from ringed water cobras. These are Naja annulata. The technique we're using for this extraction, many of you have probably seen on other videos. We tube these snakes, and we've been using tubing more and more kind of as time has gone by. The biggest reason that we're doing that is just that it makes everything a little bit safer and calmer overall. So it helps the snake to be more restrained. It prevents it from being able to twist really badly. And it also just in general, I think, takes a little bit of the risk away. Some species or some individuals can get more upset by the tubing process. And in those animals, it might not be worthwhile to tube them. But for these guys, they have a very round and slippery head and neck. And tubing them helps to make it a little bit easier for Jim to get a hold of them. You also may notice when the snake comes out of the tube, Jim is using a pin stick to hold the head down and so he can grab it. This snake immediately was able to bite the pin stick, which is not ideal, obviously. But you'll notice that it's wrapped, that's actually like a stretchy elastic bandage that it's wrapped with that makes it softer for the snake, also gives it a little bit of friction on their slippery scales, and it provides padding. So this isn't going to hurt the snake's mouth. Jim waits for the snake to let go voluntarily, and then we can just proceed. But we do waste some venom that way, so it's not our favorite thing to happen. These are really, really pretty snakes, and they are from kind of central western Africa. They're found in quite a few different countries in that part of the continent, and they are always found near water. They spend a large amount of time in the water, and when they're not in the water, they also will hang out in associated rocks or vegetation kind of along the edge of waterways. They will use both rivers and lakes, so they're not too particular in what type of water it is. These guys, we think, are pretty exclusive fish eaters in the wild. There haven't been a lot of studies done on their wild behavior or diet, but as far as we know, it seems that they primarily eat fish. In human care, they will eat rodents, but we also give them some fish to supplement their diet. Their venom is also not well studied. However, we do know that they have strong postsynaptic neurotoxins, and it seems they have both short and long chain neurotoxins, so they are considered to be fairly toxic. However, in the wild, they're very shy and quick to flee, so they don't cause a lot of bites in their natural habitat. You may notice that Jim is now holding the pin stick at the end of the tube before the snake comes out. And that's a technique he decided to try after they were successful in biting onto the pin stick a couple times, like you saw. And so this kind of hides the pin stick from the snake a little bit. And it's, for the most part, works pretty well to prevent them from being able to bite, or at least from getting a chance to bite onto the pin stick. A few thoughts on our general process for extraction, just so you kind of have a good understanding. We do allow the snakes to bite onto a funnel, typically. If you see the membrane on top of the funnel, we use that for elapid snakes. Those are ones in the Cobra family because their fangs are relatively small and not movable. We usually don't use the parafilm for vipers and pit vipers. The reason for that is their fangs fold out and can kind of hook onto the edge of the funnel. They don't really need the parafilm to feel like they're biting something, and so we just sort of feel like it's a waste of material and isn't necessary to use. When the snake bites, you may see Jim touching, rubbing, massaging, what have you, the top of the snake's head. And we actually do have another video, we'll put a link up, that explains this process in more detail. But in general, Jim is trying to encourage the snake to give more venom. He's not forcing the venom out. Sometimes it can look that way because he is following the movement of the muscles around the glands with his fingers. Well, once the snake is done giving what it's going to, then we return it to its home, and usually the next day they get a nice meal and a break for a while so they can decompress. The extraction process does not hurt the snakes, but it is scary for them. They probably see it as a predator encounter. And so we want to make sure that we give them time to rest and be relaxed in between extractions so they can stay healthy. There is an interesting paper by Fletcher, Malhotra, and Rooster that showed these snakes retain resistance to toad toxins, even though they, as far as we know, don't eat toads on a regular basis. Many cobras do, and many have resistance to toad toxins. These guys have retained that resistance, even though they probably don't eat a lot of toads currently. That's just kind of an interesting thing that they would have that resistance, even though they probably don't need it at this point. Here you can see the hooding behavior of these snakes. You can tell their hood is a little bit more narrow and less round than many other cobras are. These guys are fairly closely related to the forest cobras, who also have a more thin hood. And they're considered a different subgenus now, which is the Boulangerina. That used to be the actual genus, but now they're all included in Naja.
Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more KRZ videos, and don't forget to hit the bell so you know when it's happening. Follow us on social media at KY Reptile Zoo for more scaly content. Lastly, come visit us in Slade, Kentucky, and check out our website at kyreptilezoo.com for merch and booking programs. See ya!